Ladies and gentlemen, you knew it was coming back. Hypno Double Dark. With the new moveset, we have Thunder Punch on Scrafty to try to combat some of those water types. Water's still pretty strong in this meta. Obviously, they nerfed Lantern. Spark is now reduced damage. So a lot of the waters are roaming free, except that a lot of the new updates are basically throwing Thunder Punch on a lot of different mon. Whether that's Typhlosion, Scrafty. Well, today we're using Scrafty. Tomorrow we might use Typhlosion. All right. So yeah, it's going to give... So there's a weird dichotomy here because it's obviously giving it extra coverage against the flyers that Scrafty's bad against. But the one thing you're missing out on is any sort of ramp style. So in the past, basically what we've used Scrafty here on the channel for is as a closer that can just ramp all the way up. And it's going to have a little bit of a different... it's still going to be our closer, but it's going to be having a little bit different strategy, I think, against a lot of things. So I just wanted to showcase some of the battles I had with this team. If you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. And again, I say this after every intro, basically. But if you think you are subscribed, I've seen in the comments a bunch of people thinking that they were just subscribed, and then I say this and they check and they're not subscribed. If you think you're subscribed, go ahead and check now. And if you're not, hit the subscribe button. And then if you want to subscribe and you're a new subscriber, definitely hit subscribe. All right, we're going to get right into the battles because this is going to be a bit of a long one. You guys know I love playing this team, so I played a lot of this team today, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so Hypno into Mantine is obviously really good. They end up coming with Lickitung. I could have swapped to Umbreon, but decided to swap into Scrafty here because I thought, even if I ramp through this, I'll be able to have some Thunder Punches for the Mantine here, and Thunder Punch obviously double super effective against the Mantine, although Thunder Punch, to be fair, not the best move in the game. It's pretty underwhelming, except that it's going to be double super effective, so obviously it's going to be whelming. And I'm going to go up to 2 here because they just came back in with the Mantine, so they were at 0 energy. They switched out instantly, so now they're going to be at the Aerial Ace. If they want to throw Aerial Ace right now, we'll CMP. They decide to go for Farm Down. Makes a lot of sense. I'm going to hit them with this one, and if they don't shield, it's going to be a KO. If they do shield, they're going to be able to farm us down, but we still have the Hypno in the back to try to take it out. And they end up not shielding, and then I don't know if they just left after that, and then we just farmed the Scrafty all the way down. But we would have been able to win this game anyways. Hypno with 2 shields against the Scrafty would have definitely been able to farm it down. Annihilate is a bit of a weird front Pokemon, so obviously it is fighting, so we're liking that. But the thing is, it can take the shields from Hypno because it can always threaten this Shadow Ball. And if it ends up throwing Night Slash and it gets the boost, and then you're going to be scared of just the Night Slashes, and that's just a whole heap of trouble there. I decided I can definitely live through another one of these Icy Wind. If they did throw Drill Run here, obviously that would be pretty tough. But I can farm this down and then throw Foul Play into the Annihilate, although we're 2 times reduced, so not going to be that good. But, it's still neutral damage. It's still decent. Just trying to chunk it. And trying to make sure they have low energy. They do come in with a Bastiodon. Now, this is going to be a very long matchup. This matchup does go to Bastiodon in all shield scenarios, but it's not by a lot, and you outpace. So in each shield scenario, you get closer and closer with Umbreon. Actually, I'm not 100% sure that Umbreon loses the 2s. Anyways, I take the hit here. I kind of want to use 1 or 0 shields here. I need to make sure that I still have Hypno beating the Annihilate in the back, which means if Annihilate ever gains a little bit of extra energy through anything, I need to make sure that I can shield the Shadow Ball. And that's basically it. I could probably take another hit here, but it's close. Also, it's going to be near the switch timer, and my switch wasn't up right away, so I decided to throw this move into this. Annihilate, but it is neutral still, and then I can just go for Farm Down. Unfortunately, not going to be able to KO in time, and I can just shield this anyways, and I'm thinking now if I go into the rest of the matchup, I can probably just shield the Hypno one more time, because I think they're at a move on Bastiodon. Yeah, this is CMP, so I can shield here, and then they're probably going to shield this, because it is technically the strongest move left, and they're already getting pretty low, but I know that I can get to 1 more Thunder Punch, and I might be able to get to 2. When you're throwing a 4-turn move like Confusion into a 3-turn move like Smackdown, this Bastiodon has, you want to throw 2 Confusions, or 2 of the 4-turn move, because that's 8 total turns versus their 3 would be 9. 8 under 8 is less than 9, so you'll get under there in the perfect timing with only giving them 1 extra turn. Hopefully that made sense. This one I just throw one extra confusion because I just want to get that little bit of extra damage in, and I wanted to see how much damage the Smackdown was doing with the amount of life I had left there, and I decided I couldn't actually make it to the efficient version of that. They come up with the Nidoqueen, they switch into Empoleon, we switch into Scrafty. This is another matchup where you really would love to, I think I ended up not shielding this. I think I take unnecessary risks in this game because I was like, maybe I can farm this down. It doesn't have Steel Wing, which is what I'm used to, but obviously we have seen more Waterfall and Empoleon in the course of Pokemon Go than we have Steel Wing and Empoleon. But yeah, I decided to come in with the Umbreon afterwards, and they have a Mandibuzz, and this game is pretty over, to be honest. Umbreon beats Mantine. Umbreon beats Mandibuzz here in all shield scenarios because you're just seeing stronger moves, and then the Nidoqueen is very bad against the Hypno. The one thing you have to really think about is if they are throwing at 8, it could be the Earth Power. So I decided to shield because I can't really risk losing this and then having Umbreon get debuffed in the back. So I'm fine using the shield even if they go for the bait. I have 2 moves loaded up. They throw a Snarl, so they get a free Snarl in, and then it looks like we CMP into the next move, which is great. I kind of want Hypno to go down. I did everything I could with him at this point. These would obviously be super effective against the Mandibuzz, which they're going to shield the strongest move left. But now we have a shield on Umbreon, and that's already a winning matchup with Umbreon anyways, Last Resort being a much stronger move than Aerial Ace. And that's GG. You see in the bottom left, we got some researches done, which means, boom. It's already a win and we don't even know it. Typhlosion is the first Shadow Typhlosion I'm seeing, so it's actually really good for them to be against. They could go for 4 Incinerates, I think, but it's good for us in the sense that I can always go 4 turns under 5, so I always want to throw on 1, which is pretty nice. Everything else is like really awkward, so I decided to shield this, obviously. We got a full confusion in because this is really just an awkward matchup. They come with the Mantine. I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt. Obviously, double super effective in this from a Shadowmon is actually going to do a lot more than even the Scrafty one did, which was about 70%. So I think it would do probably like 85% to this Mantine. And then I decided to come in with Umbreon. Obviously, shields are down on both sides, but it's Umbreon can soak a lot more, so I want to use the Umbreon here when possible, and I want to try to gain as much energy as I can as well. Hypno still has a decent amount of HP, which means the Shadow Confusions are going to be able to do hopefully a decent amount to the rest of his team. And one more foul play here. I technically can get there on good timing, but they're going to throw a move here. They've been throwing Aerial Ace the whole time, so that's kind of odd. Oh, they end up catching on the Typhlosion, which, whatever. It has enough HP to where it's going to get KO'd here, but it had enough. Oh, actually, it was kind of lower than I thought on HP. They end up swapping into a regular Swampert, a shiny one at that, which, yeah, he obviously can get to these Hydras pretty fast, and I think he ends up going for the Earthquake here, just maybe thinking he can only get 1 move off. Technically, it does cost 1 less energy. It's 9 energy for 2 Hydros, or 9 Mud Shots for 2 Hydros, and then 8 Mud Shots for 1 Earthquake. They end up coming with Swampert. I decide, you know what, I think I can get to another move if I just get this extra farm down here, and yeah, that's going to be GG. Although it would have been GG either way, Hypno would have gotten to a move as well, and we're never getting farm down here, even on the Umbreon. Dunsparce. During the Noctowl, Trevenant meta, Walrein meta, Dunsparce was an insane anti-meta pick. I haven't seen one in a long time. What I decided to do here was I was just going to get as much energy as I can on the Hypno and then switch into Umbreon and then just soak a little bit more energy here if they decide to stay in, and then just have a lot of energy on that Hypno to throw at anything. I have obviously some decent coverages in Ice Punch and Thunder Punch against possibly other things in the back. The only weird thing is when you have a Dunsparce in the front, it seems like you probably wouldn't have something weak to Scrafty in the back. But we'll see. We'll I guess end up seeing here in the end. Let's check it out. I can take one more hit and then farm this all the way down with Umbreon. So if you can get a Snarl down, just take it. And now I have 2 moves on Umbreon, 2 moves on Hypno, and then a Scrafty in the back with some decent coverages now. Ends up being a Tentacruel. We'll see if it's a Shadow or not. I think most people have been using Shadow. Yeah, it is a shadow. Which means, yeah, we're going to get all these neutral moves off. Obviously, if I had Psychic, it'd be right here. But then if I had Psychic, I would be doing really bad into the Manabuzz matchup, right? And then I decided to throw on CMP here. They actually did not end up throwing. They're going to try to go for maybe a farm down. So I'm going to switch and do a little combo attack here. They can obviously shield this and then show their last Mon. But you know what? This Tentacruel now is pretty low. And it is a Quagsire, so this is resisted. Luckily, I do have the Ice Punch, and if they try to go for like a crazy farm down, I'll definitely be able to get one more Ice Punch off. They're going to get the farm down afterwards, but, you know, the Ice Punch doing a lot here. And then I know that Tentacruel is basically only going to have one move before I get to that Thunder Punch on Scrafty, and I have 2 shields. And a Shadow Tentacruel definitely is going to have more damage than anything a Quagsire is going to do, so that's why I'm not shielding right here. And once they show Mud Bomb, I'm like, okay, I can take a second Mud Bomb, fine. If they throw a third, I probably will shield that. The Tentacruel only has 1 move, so I need to make sure I do have 1 shield for the Tentacruel no matter what. We end up getting the farm down, and they end up leaving. All right, Lantern in the lead here. I thought Lantern was dead. Obviously, you still see Lantern a little bit. It's people trying to catch specifically Skarmory. Skarmory is really good in the meta right now. But it is a little awkward to be using Lantern, I think. It's just going to be super weak to a lot of things. I decide, since I already took the shield, I'm going to switch into Umbreon. Now, this matchup against Annihilate and Umbreon, it's not that bad. The one thing you have to worry about is if they end up shielding or they get the boost. If they get the boost, it becomes really bad because they're probably going to shield and farm down a ton of energy on the Umbreon and then be able to throw Night Slashes into the Hypno and then super effective double attack buffed counters into the Scrafty. Now, luckily they did not get the boost, and actually I probably could go for a farm down. Night Slash really not doing a lot of damage. You can see how little it is doing there. And now I have a move to throw against whatever comes back in. If it does end up being a Skarmory, okay. I don't really want it to farm me down here, so I decided to switch back into the Hypno. I can always throw a super effective Thunder Punch into it, and I believe Scrafty can just win the rest of the matchup by himself if I need to. Although almost gets to a farm down here against the Hypno. I'm going to let Hypno go. Obviously, we're way too low, and I've already determined I'm on that Scrafty plan. I'm going to wait the timer out just in case later down the line I can use Umbreon as a 3rd shield, even though I already have a 2-shield lead. But you never know. I mean, I think we're just going to win, but I decided not to throw a move because I have such an advantage. I can just decide to hold this, use one of my shields, go for the farm down. If they ever come back in with Lantern, I'll throw the Foul Play. Foul Play, both moves are neutral, but Foul Play obviously doing a lot more just because 1, it has Stab, 2, it's just a better move overall. Even if it was no Stab, same type attack bonus. Even if it didn't have that bonus, it still would have been just as good. And actually, didn't even get to use my Thunder Punch there. Unfortunate. All right, regular Whiscash. Maybe people don't have the memo, but I think regular Whiscash, not very good. They end up coming in here. The Scald debuff chance is now only 30%, but you can see right here, we get the attack debuff. Nice. We're 0 for 1, or our opponents are 1-0 on attack debuffs. Oh boy. But yeah, this is still just a fine matchup. Like I said, Whiscash not going to get the debuffs all the time, doesn't get it here, and we're going to have a good matchup here with the Umbreon now, whereas maybe before the percent chances of having a good matchup here are pretty bad. We're going to outpace here to the Foul Play, but they threw before, which means this is 100% a Mud Bomb. And I'm just going to throw right away. I'm already super low. I don't want to risk anything for them getting to another Mud Bomb if I try to go for good timing. So I'm just going to let it go here, and boom. Oh, they ended up shielding. Still just going to let it go. Going to come in with a Hypno. This is probably 2 Confusions. 1, 2. Yeah, this is fantastic for me. Now, I do need to switch because it is that... okay. This is obviously not very good for me, although we do resist Night Slash. We double resist Night Slash, and then Shadow Ball is only neutral. But... I think a lot of people are forgetting the move changes happened today, or maybe they didn't even know, because I go for this... Oh, I was going to say I go for the Thunder Punch, but I go for the Foul Play. If it does KO... I mean, if they let it go, it KOs. Guess they thought I was going to bait, but To be honest, a lot less baiting in these scenarios when you have Thunder Punch, whereas a lot more baiting happens when you have Power Up Punch, because all of a sudden you're gaining such a huge advantage. And then they decide to stay in here against... Oh, I remember this guy's also running Lantern. People are wilding today. Yeah, they come in with Lantern. This was already a good matchup with the Spark when Spark was 6 damage, but now that Spark's 5 damage, it's even better. Although we did get hit by the Alolan Sandslash. So obviously that's why they were doing it. They think they can win this matchup if they did a lot of extra damage, I should say, because it did about 45%. Now we're about 50%. I guess it did like just above 40, but now we're getting pretty low here, getting probably to 30% here, but you just outpace and you're just damaging more than they are. But they have a little bit more HP here than I had hoped. But if this is a Surf, I technically live. They end up throwing a Thunderbolt. It's very good on the opponent to do that. I only get 1 energy worth of thing there, of confusion damage. And then, oh, this is the guy where I was like, maybe he thinks I'm throwing Power Up Punch here because he doesn't know that I have Thunder Punch. Because I didn't even go up to the foul play, by the way. There's no bait here. So we shield, we farm down, then we farm down the Sandslash, and that's GG. Yeah, some people might not know that the buff is live, so that could be helpful to you. All right, look at Tongue lead. Obviously very bad. Carbink switch, obviously really bad. I mean, all we can do is... I'll tell you the toughest part. Both of these are weak to Scrafty. Like, kind of weak to Scrafty. Well, I guess especially if I had Power Up Punch. But, so now we're thinking the thing in the back probably isn't weak to Scrafty, and I don't have Power Up Punch, so I'm not going to be able to use the shields to gain this huge attack bonus throughout the match. It's going to be tough. And we got to fill the time because this matchup's horrific. They're just going to go for the full farm down here. I probably get 2 more foul plays. Maybe I even get 3. This is terrible. This is obviously one of the scenarios where running Umbreon is quite bad. But, you know, you take the risk with the reward. Umbreon is a bulky mon that is pretty good against a lot of the meta. But against some of the things, it's just walled completely. Look, we threw like 5 foul plays into this thing, and it's still alive. So now we have to make a decision on whether or not we're going to shield anything on Hypno. I think I'm just going to allow Scrafty to roam free in the back. And I can make a decision right here whether or not I wanted to switch into Scrafty right away, start getting farm down, or just get this Carbink out of the way and see what it is in the back in this scenario that we're doing now. So they end up coming in with a Trevenant. I mean, it's not the worst. Seed Bomb was buffed, so I'm actually really surprised I did not shield this. Seed Bomb got a buff. It got buffed, right? I think it did. They end up not shielding, and since it does take a little bit more energy for it to get to Seed Bomb nowadays, it is not able to get one on here. And then he forfeits. I think he thinks we have Power Up Punch, and we're just going to 2-shield through the Lickitung. That was amazing for us. All right, Whimsicott here in the lead. We obviously have Ice Punch here as a deterrent against... Well, it was specifically for Altarias back in the day, but, you know, it works here against this as well. Whimsicott, usually paired with, like, a Fire type, I would think. Oh, ends up being with a Water type for Alligator. Okay. I'm going to just switch to Umbreon. Not going to try to get energy or anything like that. Just going to play this matchup straight up. Obviously, we do resist the Shadow Claws, but, you know, it's a Shadow and it has Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon does a lot. But even if they threw 2 at us, we would not get KO'd. So I think my thinking is let them hit us with 1 more, try to get as much energy as I can, and then I hopefully have enough to throw a last resort into the Whimsicott. And this guy's throwing 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. He's just throwing every time at 5, so I know I can do 3, because 3 Snarls is 9 turns, and then 5 Shadow Claws is 10 turns. So yeah, 1 under. And then I'm able to get to this move. Obviously bad timing, but it doesn't matter if you have bad timing if you're only going to get 1 move off anyways. So if you only have enough HP to get 1 move off, I should say. I end up saving the Hypno here because I don't know what's in the back, and I don't know if I should really be keeping track, or keeping the Hypno, because if it's like an Annihilate, I kind of want it to do damage. I'm probably going to do 1 more Confusion and then switch to Scrafty, just let the damage flow in and out of both my Mon. You'd rather have 2 Mon at half-life and a half energy on both to another move, or halfway to another move with both, than just have 1 Mon at like, rather than have Scrafty against a Moonblast here would obviously be horrific, right? Doesn't matter if we had 100% HP. Yeah. That's just a strategy I use pretty often, I think. It's a good one. Definitely take it into put it into your arsenal if you've never heard that one before, or if you have, I guess just keep doing it. Yeah, Mantine obviously a good matchup for us. It's interesting that they threw the Aerial Ace there. And then when they shield, I decided to go into Umbreon. Again, we're an ABB comp in the end, so I'm just trying to bait things out, and Annihilate is one of the things I'm trying to bait out. A counter user against Scrafty is not very good for Scrafty. But again, Annihilate not even the best against Umbreon though, so there's almost no chance that close combat is being run on most Annihilapes. So if I say Annihilate has a 7, let's say 5 to 10% chance to have close combat, I'm probably not going to shield a 5 to 10% chance. And I don't care whether or not they do have it and we lose, that's fine. I'm just going to play the percentages. That's the way I run it. And that's the way I think is the correct way to do it. So, all right, they lose a shield, or I'm sorry, they don't use a shield. They had the shield on the Mantine. So now their Mantine has a ton of energy, and I have to make a call here. I decided I'm going to shield once and then let one go through. I should live an Aerial Ace in the end of the day. They do have a lot of energy, so we're going to sap some of that energy. They go for a second move right here. They're playing it perfect. They're going one wing attack in between my confusions, and I just decide I'm throwing this. I don't want them to get to another move, and then I'm going to switch to Scrafty. If they throw another move, I'm going to shield here, and then I'm going to judge whether or not I think they're going to swap, and I'm probably just going to throw Thunder Punch right when I get it. Maybe they forgot about Thunder. Maybe this person also didn't know Thunder Punch existed, and they were waiting for the foul play to catch on Clodsire. This is obviously horrific. This matchup's going to take a while. So, Clodsire running Earthquake, Stone Edge most of the time. I know we saw one. Oh, this guy has Sludge Bomb. It's actually worse for us, right? How much does it take to get Sludge Bomb? I feel like it's 6. Okay. Okay. How many confusions? 3 confusions to KO here. Oh, man. I don't know how we won that one. All right, Annihilate lead. Again, Annihilate can be problematic and in the lead because when it gains energy, it's actually able to threaten Hypno. And so you just want to keep switching it around. I actually think Annihilate is a pretty good lead, obviously. Against Hypno, obviously, it's not very good, especially if you get caught in there for a little bit and Hypno has a shield. But if Hypno has shields down or you have a ton of energy to threaten it, then obviously it's much better. I played this a little wrong. I thought about undercharging, you could see in the way I tapped the bubbles, and then I didn't undercharge because I couldn't remember exactly how that matchup went. No, I know they had a hard win, but I forgot how much I could undercharge before fully farming it down. It's just been a while since I played the team against the Trevenant, right? So that one's on me. Obviously, this Annihilate now has a ton of energy, and I really have to be scared about my Hypno, but it is lucky that not lucky, but we had energy management. It's good for us that we are able to get the Annihilate that low at least. Maybe it's 2 confusions away. I decided to shield the first Shadow Ball, but I probably won't shield again. And then I guess we'll see if he thinks we're ever going to bait, but I think he's just going to shield every move. One Shadow Ball obviously not going to KO us. I think it does like 50% maybe like 40% to be honest. It is neutral. Oh, it's resisted, right? We're Dark type. I forget how the typings work sometimes. The defensive versus offensive, they're different because obviously counter is double resisted by Ghost, but has no significance the other way around. I'm gonna let this go, and then I'm gonna switch because it's obvious he's about to switch. So I'll shield this, and I should have the Ice Punch coming out of this matchup with one more confusion, and that'll be GG. Ice Punch obviously gonna KO Giratina. Remember that Giratina in Great League is very frail. So as long as it doesn't have the resistance, the dragon resistance against the elemental typings, then you're pretty good. This matchup's a little weird. Haven't seen an Azumarill this season, I don't think. Well, I can't even remember. Maybe I have. But I do end up shielding the first move, which I very rarely do. And then I saw that ghost typing, and I switched right to Umbreon. But technically, Skeledirge has Disarming Voice, which is super effective against dark typing. But we're also dealing super effective back to him, and Disarming Voice is not a very good move. I do want to make sure I'm on good timing if I can. But if I can't, I'm just going to throw the move when I have the possibility to. And I don't think I can get to good timing here because I think that 2 Incinerates will KO me. So I'm just going to throw the move, see if I get a shield or not. We do end up getting the shield, which is nice. I'm going to come back in Hypno and probably go for a shield here. They end up coming back in with the Azumarill. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I did kind of lose track of what energy was happening here because all I could think about was, why am I farming up so much on this Hypno against Azumarill? I should have thrown already by this point, and now I have a ton of energy. Hopefully, he ends up coming back in with the Skeledirge, which clues me in that he is weak to Hypno in the back. Which means I probably shouldn't have thrown this move, but it's okay. He's locked in anyways. Only one move's going to come through with the Skeledirge, no matter what happens here. The switch timer is not back up yet. So it is an Annihilate here in the back. I decided to throw the Thunder Punch right away. They're going to be at 2. I'm probably just going to switch to Scrafty and see if I can get to that Thunder Punch. I don't want to get... Oh. Okay, I did a little bit of extra damage. I try to put it into Thunder Punch range, I guess. And yeah, we do end up throwing it here. Unless they had close combat, they really weren't going to do anything here. The best move they had maybe would have been Shadow Ball. But that wouldn't have been enough to KO us. And that is Hypno Double Dark in this season. So, yeah, the team felt really good, to be honest. And trying to think, what were the worst matchups? I think that Annihilate in the lead is actually scarier than it feels. It's a fighter that has a chance to one-shot. No. Does it one-shot Hypno? I don't know that for a fact. But to be able to do a lot of damage to Hypno, really threaten it. What else felt pretty bad? Registeel felt weird. Dugong felt a little weird too. You saw a couple matchups where I safe swapped into Scrafty against Dugong and Polion, and it felt kind of weird because I didn't have that ramping style to then really threaten the lead with a super powered or a charged up foul play. So yeah, it feels a little weird not having the ability to boost and then really push through damage. But at the same time, we got a really good move and a really good coverage move, I should say. Not a good move. A really good coverage move in Thunder Punch for Scrafty to hit a lot of the flyers, which he obviously was not great against. Also, Skarmory felt a little weird because you can win that matchup power up punch, straight power up punch in the shield scenarios in 1 and 2. That was before Steel Wing. I don't actually know if the matchup's the same or not, but it feels like it probably would be. Because you don't die to win Sky Attack, but you're always threatened by the Brave Bird, so it's tough. Yeah, so the matchups are different. Just gonna have to relearn, and hopefully this video helped you all out. You guys know I love playing this team. I'll play it every season till Pokemon Go is not a game anymore. This team, the coverages are perfect. Just like in the Metacham video, there's a reason this team was ran before, and the whole team has a lot of bulk to it. They have perfect coverages in Scrafty and Hypno. It's the same type of coverage as like Whiscash and Skarmory. There's a reason these types of teams are run over and over. They're just very good ABB teams. And then obviously Umbreon is a Pokemon that can handle a lot of the neutral matchups itself, the same way that Lickitung can. If you want to change any of them on out, Annihilate's actually really good in that Scrafty slot. I know people were running that last season. Obviously, any dark type can go in that Umbreon slot. I've seen people running something even as strange as Sableye. But I personally, you've seen a ton of videos on this channel, probably if you go back, with Munchlax, Lickitung, Greedent, all the normal types. I think even a Vigoroth also is pretty good in that Umbreon slot. So yeah, if you want to try those out, definitely try them out. And again, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. And if you have, double check. And I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. And if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out. And if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there. And I'll see you in the next one.